Welcome to B&C Car Reviews channel. 2023 Ford F-150 Raptor, our first test, absolutely bonkerballs. In the super truck horsepower war, there's no Han versus Griot style argument to be had. The Ram 1500 TRX shot first. Sure, Ford's F-150 Raptor pickup has been on the hunt for more than a decade, but history has it down as the balanced desert runner. Its power level, 450 horses today, more or less in equilibrium with its dirt-dashing chops. In contrast, the TRX roared onto the scene 2 years ago as a ballsy, 702 horsepower beast with a bad attitude and a mission to rooster tail sand in the face of Ford's wimpy off-road pickup. No more. The 2023 Ford Raptor R is here to fight back with 700 horsepower of its own, and it has its blaster set to kill. Once we took the new Raptor R to the test track, we discovered its aim is pretty damn true. It trips up the TRX in the 0 to 60 miles per hour sprint, clocking an astounding 3.7 second time, thumping our best existing result in the Ram by a significant 0.4 second. No doubt aided by the 6,000-pound Ford weighing an incredible 700 fewer pounds than the Ram. And it feels every bit that quick, charging off the line like a rhino with an ICBM up its rear on the way to a 12.1 second quarter-mile run at 111.8 miles per hour. The TRX's best? 12.7 seconds at 107.3 miles per hour. For further reference, the last non-R Raptor we tested with the 450 horsepower twin-turbo V6 and 37-inch tires checks in at 5.6 seconds to 60 in 14.3 at 94.0 miles per hour through the quarter. Credit the R's absolute brute of an engine, a version of the 5.2-liter supercharged V8 found in the Mustang Shelby GT500, which is appropriately dubbed Predator. Tuned to have a meatier, more truck-friendly torque curve thanks to software tweaks and a smaller supercharger pulley, it delivers its fusillade of power and torque on a whim even on the move, the 10-speed automatic adroitly shuffling between its abundance of ratios. This is a truck that can spin all four of its big blocked off-road tires on pavement as easily as you can turn up the AC. The exhaust has 4 adjustable sound levels that range from basically quiet, "Your neighbors will love you for widening the time window in which this operates at startup," done via the touch screen, to "Oh my god, I think I just summoned Cthulhu." Really, though, in any of the 3 angriest settings the noise is ragged and deep and glorious and delivered with far less supercharger whine than in the TRX. The Raptor R is blown, but it doesn't really want you to know it's blowing. Also, unlike the Ram TRX, there's a 2-wheel drive mode for even more goofball shenanigans, if you dare. 2WD could be called the squirreliest setting, OBS, albeit if the squirrel in question could powerlift 2,000 pounds and had done time for attempted homicide. We kid, mostly. The Raptor R's chassis is so dialed in and offers enough fidelity that corralling this beast when the rear steps out is easier than you might think. Still, maybe keep it in 4A unless you have plenty of room for error. Should you think Ford Performance just stuck a big ol' motor in the Raptor and 4-wheel peeled into the sunset, don't. The R is a holistically tuned machine that delivers fantastic ride quality on the road without getting floaty, while at the same time serving up outstanding rebound performance and body control when humping over the gnarliest stuff you can find. This is a Raptor through and through, and it feels like the excellent chassis was waiting for this engine. If there's a weak spot in how the 2023 Ford Raptor R drives, it's that the steering is just vague enough, and the steering wheel thick and large enough in diameter, that the truck rarely feels like putty in your hands. You never, ever forget its size, whether that's maintaining a lane on the highway or dodging rocks and trees on forest paths. This isn't the case with the Ram TRX, which is actually an inch wider and a skosh longer but somehow manages to drive smaller. Outside of the V8, the rest of the package is familiar from the Raptor 37, a sort of Raptor R Lite introduced for 2021 as something of a stopgap while Ford readied the 2023 Raptor R's engine. The R and 37 share their larger tires, body add-ons, and pretty much everything else outside of the engine bay. So, the Raptor R has comfy, well-bolstered seats, a relatively high-quality but extremely busy interior, an infotainment system that gets the job done, with some annoying quirks, such as requiring you to spin the tuning knob to get to the direct input for satellite radio stations, and all the various cubbies, bins, and features, the power folding shifter, flip-out console lid table, and rear underseat storage, for example, that make non-Raptorized F-150s so practical. Downsides? The turning circle is big enough to fit a football field. You might crush a small sedan while parking it, and the 8 pattern in the bedside graphics is corny. Find the 1V and win a prize. Well, all that and the fact it costs $109,145 to start, enough to buy a regular Raptor and any number of sporty cars to go with it. Heck, it's enough to buy a base TRX and a Ford Maverick. But in a fight, and make no mistake, Ford and Ram are in a pitched battle. Often it's not who shoots first who wins, it's who shoots last. With the 2023 Ford Raptor R, the blue oval just may have landed a crippling blow. Welcome to B&C Car Reviews channel. Four-wheelers pickup truck and SUV of the year 2023, Day 3, more dirt testing. Working at an off-road magazine like Four-Wheeler has its benefits. One we look forward to each and every year is the new 4x4 vehicle testing we do to determine our Four-Wheeler of the Year winner. As you may know, our testing of new four-wheel drive vehicles for 2023 started with a track day, and continued with our first day of testing in the dirt. This trip allows us, a passel of off-road experts and enthusiasts, to spend some time with new production vehicles that come with four-wheel drive with a low-range transfer case. The aim of the SUV of the Year and Pickup of the Year tests is to allow us to push the limits of these vehicles, within reason, so we can pass on our knowledge and experience to our readers. Let's face it, folks, no one is going to take their brand new $80,000 to $107,000 4x4 rock crawling or mud bogging, so our aim is to drive these vehicles to the extent that we can judge their overall capability and give our expert feedback on what we see in the fleet. This year we have 7 vehicles total, including 2 pickup trucks and 5 SUVs. The trucks are the Ram heavy-duty Rebel with a worn winch and a rear locker, and the Chevy Silverado 1500 ZR2 that has 2 lockers, active suspension, and a 6.2-liter V8. Our SUV field included the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk Force, which features plug-in hybrid technology along with a low-range transfer case with a locking center differential and a traction-controlled rear diff that can approach locked, the Jeep Wagoneer with the new inline-6 engine and similar traction capabilities to the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk Force, the Lexus LX 600F Sport, which is reportedly based on the current Toyota Land Cruiser that's only available overseas as a Toyota LC, the Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro, which is based on the new Tundra platform and shares its hybrid 3.6-liter engine, transmission, and a similar rear axle, with a selectable locker, and, last but not least, the Chevy Tahoe Z71, which also has a 6.2-liter V8, active suspension, skid plates, and red-painted tow hooks. For Day 3 of our OTY testing we headed towards the vast off-road expanse known collectively as Johnson Valley, California. Yeah, this is the home of the Daunting Hammers trails, but we wouldn't be hitting any of those. Instead, we traveled via dirt to the area and continued on what we would consider mild off-road trails throughout the day. This gave us ample opportunity to test how the vehicles do on graded roads and rutted but mild desert trails that are sandy, rocky, eroded dirt, and more. This day is more about getting off-road miles under the belts of the vehicle testers and getting a feel for what a new owner might do with their new SUV or pickup. It's a great time to see how the suspension rides and works, possibly get the vehicles flexed out a little, and see how they all drive on a variety of terrains. So far, all of the vehicular contestants have done better than expected. We can't tell you who will win yet, that news will come when all our comments have been collected and scoring has been completed, but for now, here are our observations about the SUVs and pickups the manufacturers supplied to us for this year's test. First, as has been noted, the Lexus LX600F Sport is incredibly capable off-road. Its traction control is about as dialed as any we have met, but it's hampered by its vast front grille and fascia, which seem to hang perilously close to the ground. Also, its ridiculous low-profile tires and huge wheels are a liability on even the mildest trails or dirt roads, as even a fist-sized rock could kill a tire and bend a rim with ease. The Grand Cherokee seems small in this group, but it's comfortable on and off-road. It doesn't seem to be quite as capable as other Grand Cherokee Trailhawks we have tested in the past, but it does just about everything you'd want it to, and the hybrid drivetrain is more than powerful enough. The Toyota Sequoia, again with plenty of power, is fun on dirt roads and has ample traction when the going gets tough. Its design is very blocky, with a face that takes some getting used to, and it seems to lack any front toe points, which will hurt it on our test. The Chevy Tahoe Z71 does everything you'd expect and more despite frequently lifting tires when the terrain gets at all uneven. It has a very low belly just ahead of the rear axle that can and will come in contact with the ground. The Jeep Wagoneer is fun to drive and seems more capable than it has any right to be. It may in fact be more capable off-road than the Grand Cherokee that shares its stable. Many complimented its larger sidewalls relative to the other SUVs on the trip, thanks to relatively smaller wheels and a decently sized tire. Getting back to the pickups, the Chevy Silverado ZR2 is a blast to drive off-road and, for us, performed exceptionally well when it came time to push the limits of its off-road traction. Two locking differentials and flexi suspension combined with what are probably the most aggressive tires on the test meant this thing was almost certainly the most capable vehicle in attendance. It even climbed a few obstacles we didn't expect it to. The Ram Rebel 2500 is very capable for a true workhorse of a 3/4 ton truck, but it's still a 3/4 ton truck in the end. It's not quite as flexible and lacks the front locking differential of the Power Wagon, but it does have a higher payload and towing capacity as a result. That's a compromise away from the dirt and toward everyday use for a big truck like this. It also has overly large wheels, perhaps for load rating, and shallow sidewalls, which hurt it off-road, as any rough terrain is decidedly jarring despite any attempts made by the suspension to mitigate. Welcome to B&C Car Reviews channel. Siloan Arrange EV Tire Test, rolling in a Model 3 on Siloan's new EV tire. EV drivers, have you noticed there are more people using public charging stations? And sometimes you have to wait to use a DC fast charger? It seems more and more EVs are hitting the road. So in an effort to cater to the ever-increasing number of EV drivers who need new tires when they finally wear out, tire maker Siloan has developed its first EV-specific tire, the Arrange EV. Siloan invited us to a test drive in Southern California to sample its Arrange EV tires on a Tesla Model 3. We started in Beverly Hills and headed toward Highway 101, through Mulholland Drive. On this winding residential road perched on a hill, the Tesla Model 3 equipped with Arrange EV tires had no problem navigating the road's dips, dumps, and occasional unavoidable potholes in a graceful manner. The ride was slightly on the firm side, but that's to be expected from a sporty sedan. Soon we were on the freeway to drive to Calabasas and Malibu. Unlike internal combustion engine powertrains, EV powertrains offer an inherently quieter ride. But conversely, any excessive road and tire noise are more pronounced at high speed without engine noise masking the sound. On the highway, we noticed the Arrange EV tires didn't introduce any excessive tire noise and kept the cabin as quiet, if not quieter, than a Model 3 on its original tires. Next, we peeled off the highway and drove to Malibu through some twisty roads facing a beautiful view of the coast. Make no mistake, the Arrange EV tires are not high-performance summer tires. But on a long downhill stretch with many tight turns, they behaved very well and offered predictable feedback and handling. They're a good set of all-around, pun intended, all-season tires designed to handle various road conditions. After our test drive, our initial thought was the Arrange EV tire performed in the real world just as well as a Tesla Model 3 on its original tires. Siloan told us it provides all that at a lower cost and that its tires are more efficient. Siloan uses what it calls EcoPoint 3 technology, in which the rubber compounding materials are mixed uniformly under continuous liquid phase conditions. The goal is to produce a tire that retains good traction under various wet and dry conditions while still maintaining a low rolling resistance to further EV range. Another tech feature worth pointing out is the use of Siloan's silent tread to help reduce tire noise and cost. As mentioned earlier, road and tire noise can be more pronounced in an EV, so some other EV-specific tires on the market have acoustic foam inside for noise reduction. We asked Siloan whether the Arrange EV tire has the same kind of foam. It told us it tested both with and without foam, and the foam made no noticeable improvement in noise reduction. Also, the addition of foam means the tire is unable to be patched or repaired. Siloan's silent tread sequential pitch tread design allowed the company to ditch the acoustic foam while maintaining excellent quiet performance. It helps reduce manufacturing costs, too. Siloan is certainly stepping into the EV tire market with a compelling product. Siloan claims the Arrange EV tire can deliver 7% more range on a Tesla Model 3 than other EV-specific tires on the market, and that may just be enough for you to skip a crowded charging site one day.